Rockstar Forum, it's your boy Terry L. What's going on, y'all? I'm back at y'all with another one. Before I get into it, you know what it is. Hit the like and subscribe button. Support the channel. We putting out fresh boxing content all day, every day. We'd like to say a special thank you to our sponsors, Rika Property Management. Special shout out for our collaborators, Boxford UK. Those guys are doing it here in London and across the UK. And Boxstar Forum, we trying to go worldwide. But let's go right into it. So now, let's talk about the fight coming up this Saturday, November 20th, March 21st at Mandalay Bay Arena, Las Vegas. You know what it is. Showtime, Sean Porter taking on Bud, Terrence Bud Crawford. No, Bud is going to put some Bud lightning up in his ass. So, no, I like both these fighters, and I love this matchup. I think this is a really intriguing matchup. Terrence is my namesake, Terrence is my birth name. So, I got to roll with the man Terrence because, anybody named Terrence got to be special. Know what I mean? But check this out. Sean Porter ain't nothing but the truth because he's a beast. He's going to come at you with that aggression, and it's going to be a hell of a fight. Styles make fights, and this is a fight with two completely different styles. So let's get right into it. Terrence Crawford, 37-0, 28 KOs, WBO champ, number 2 in the pound for pound list. And we also have my main man, Sean Porter. He has 3 losses, 1 draw. He's been in a gang of fights. He's been over 30 fights, and I think he's a formidable opponent. He's definitely a former 2-time world champion. So we all know that, once upon a time, Sean Porter had his name up there as one of the best welterweights in the world. And he held the title and before he lost it to Kell Brook in England in that famous fight over in California, I believe it was when Sean Porter surrendered his title. But, Kell Brook was on top of his game at that time. And Kell Brook held on to that belt until he lost the IBF strap to Earl Spence Jr. So the welterweight division is a very interesting division because, everyone's calling for, calling for Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence Jr. Now, the reality is Terrence Crawford, in my opinion, is a very avoided fighter. I know politics is something that everyone talks about, and if it wasn't for politics, everybody would be fighting everybody. But irrespective of all of that, I believe Terrence Crawford suffers from 2 things. He suffers from the fact that he's not known to be a very big ticket seller. So the way he's managed and handled with Bob Arum at Top Rank is a topic for discussion in a lot of barbershops around the world and in the boxing circles. He seems to have been very loyal to Top Rank over the years. Some argue why didn't he leave Top Rank when he could have left Top Rank. He signed a new contract, which had him tied in to Top Rank. And Terrence Crawford is not getting any younger. So he's advancing in years, although he seems to still be in his prime. And so if he gets past this fight, according to the reports in the boxing circles, this will be Terrence Crawford's last fight under Top Rank. He's then a free agent. And he can pretty much command whatever fight he wants. So there's talk that once he leaves Bob Arum, which everyone suspects he will after this fight, win, lose, or draw, then possibly he could go with Eddie Hearn. He could go with DAZN. He can go with Matchroom. He can go with Al Heyman at PBC. And if he goes with Al Heyman at PBC, then making a fight with Earl Spence Jr. is probably more than likely on the cards. There would be no reason to not make that fight. If he leaves Bob Arum, there'd be no reason not to make that fight anyway. So the matchup between Porter and Terrence Crawford, one may ask how much of a favorite is Terrence Crawford, because he's definitely the favorite, odds-on favorite in this fight. And I would say his odds of winning the fight are probably slimmer than, well, it's probably great, but the odds of his odds betting against him is probably not that very positive if you're a gambler for the bookie's perspective, because everyone expects Terrence Crawford to stop Sean Porter late in this fight. I actually believe Sean Porter is so durable that he may go the distance in this fight, i.e. because he's never been knocked out in his career. He's been dropped won once his career that we know of, and when he fought Adrian Broner in the 12th round of that fight, and he was commanding that fight against Adrian Broner. Bud Crawford is no Adrian Broner. He's I think he's levels above Adrian Broner as a welterweight. Adrian Broner at 140 was a beast, and I think he should have stayed at 140. But I understand why he moves up to 147 because that's where the money's at. So Bud Crawford at 147 to me has proven his worth. He's proven his worth because at 140 he unified the division, did everything he was supposed to at 140, moved up to 147, and became a title belt holder. Now the WBO, as everyone knows in boxing, is the least of the four main straps in boxing, but nonetheless, it's a strap that everyone wants to hold. And if you want to be a world title holder or undisputed title holder, you try to get all the belts. And so there's no knocking that he holds a WBO belt. To me, Terence Crawford really made his mark to me when he beat Benavidez. That fight to me was a fight that, not David Benavidez, but I actually felt that when he won that fight, because Benavidez is a wiry character, and it was a tough fight. It wasn't an easy fight for Terence Crawford under any imagination. But he got through that fight and won that fight late on in that contest. And you know, with all the fights, not even a Kell Brook fight, not even the Amir Khan fight excites me the way that the fight against the Benavidez that to me made Terence Crawford come of age. And I know people would look to various things. Oh, he fought this person and that person. He wasn't great against. He wasn't great against Kell Brook, and Kell Brook was washed up. He was supposed to knock out Amir Khan because Amir Khan gets knocked out by everybody. But if you ever want to see someone set traps, someone take the fight to someone show boxing skills, ringmanship, watch the Benavidez fight and Crawford fight. To me, that is the best fight I've seen Crawford in my opinion. And that showed me what type of fighter Terence Crawford really is. He was crafty, he was skillful, he was menacing, he had the killer instinct when he needed to have the killer instinct. Yo, that fight to me had it all. It had the highs and the lows. I would watch that fight 4 or 5 times over. I watched it twice, and I would definitely say that's the fight everybody should watch. Now, in terms of the fight against Shawn Porter made a really good show of himself when he fought against Errol Spence Jr. Took Errol Spence Jr. 12 rounds, and Errol Spence Jr. and Crawford is a fight that everybody wants to see. And some may argue if Shawn Porter can take Errol Spence Jr. to 12 rounds, then he can take anybody 12 rounds, because the pound for pound king at one point was Errol Spence Jr. The best welterweight is Errol Spence Jr. right now, and the number 2 welterweight is probably Crawford, or the number 1 is Crawford, number 2 is Errol Spence Jr. Either way, the best 2 welterweights in the division are Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Now, I suspect that Crawford will get past Shawn Porter. I think it'll be a tough fight, and I think Shawn Porter will make it difficult for him. Mark my words when I say this. Shawn Porter is tougher. It is as tough as people say he is. But also, mark my words, Bud Crawford has power that you may not know him to have, or you may underestimate his power. I believe he has underrated power at the 147 limit, or at any limit. And he's always said, he told Amir Khan, when I hit you, it would be like you've never been hit before. And we all know what happened in that fight. He knocked out Amir Khan. So in my opinion, I believe Bud Crawford will rock the hell out of Shawn Porter round after round after round. But I believe Shawn Porter's formidable attitude, his aggressiveness, he's in tip-top shape always in every fight. And his never say die attitude will see him through. Now, I could be wrong, because I was wrong about Caleb Plant in my prediction. I thought Caleb Plant was going to go the distance, and he almost did until the 11th round, and he got caught with that mean right hand by Canelo Alvarez, and the fight was over. So I could be wrong in this fight, but that's my opinion. You tell me what you think. Terence Crawford, does he stop Shawn Porter, or does it go the distance? I'd love to hear what you think. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Y'all holler back. Let me know what y'all think. Support the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments. Hit the bell icon. and I'll wait for the next video because it's about to drop. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's crazy. We got some more boxing news coming up for y'all, and y'all ain't gonna understand what's coming next. Holla back. Peace.